Hello, this is Darius Oliver with Divine Numerology. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have a really awesome show today. We're going to be talking about some new insights into numerology and Vedic astrology. We're going to talk about the number of the day. And for those of you that are watching on my private page, feel free to drop your birthday in the box so we can talk about that. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
This is a production for the voice of San Joaquín. Porque nos vamos a enlazar con el mero, el gallo de Zacatecas.
That's right, homeboy.
El de Poyá.
You got it, homeboy. Ahí les voy.
Dicen que soy poderoso, yo solo soy su amigo. No estoy para averiguar, saben a qué me dedico. Me gusta vivir muy bien, aunque me siga el peligro.
Nosotros somos los Tucanes de Tijuana y nos vamos directamente. Adelante, échale, primo.
Hay que hacer ruido para que se mire la polvadera. Ahí le va, ahí le va. Mi gente gusta la neta. Escuche en su carro, en su avioneta. Si prefiere mejor en bicicleta o en casa de su suegra Petra. Sin pelos en la lengua. Sin pelos en la lengua. Sin pelos en la lengua. Se escucha la neta. Hay que hacer ruido. Sin pelos en la lengua. Hay que hacer ruido. Sin pelos en la lengua. Para que se vea la polvadera. Sin pelos en la lengua. Se escucha la neta. Una producción del DJ Mix para el nuevo Imperio Enterprises. Radializando. Sin pelos en la lengua. Sin pelos en la lengua. Es la neta. Sin pelos en la lengua. Sin pelos en la lengua. Gallo. Sin pelos en la lengua. Se escucha la neta. Hay que hacer ruido. Sin pelos en la lengua. Hay que hacer ruido. Sin pelos en la lengua. Para que se vea la polvadera. Sin pelos en la lengua. Se escucha la neta. Es la neta. Una producción del DJ Mix para el nuevo Imperio Enterprises. Radializando. Sin pelos en la lengua. Sin pelos en la lengua. Es la neta. Sin pelos en la lengua. Sin pelos en la lengua.
Attention, Stockton. Are you experiencing a transition in business, relationships, health, or your life purpose? I'm Darius Oliver, and I help people to look within and find clarity and direction in their constantly changing lives. Tune in and listen with me as I go deep into your patterns and personal cycles through divine numerology. Any life transition you're experiencing can be illuminated by an in-depth analysis of your chart. For the first time in Stockton, you now have access to a professional numerologist here to help you light your own way. I'm in the booth to help you find your own truth. Tune in to Divine Numerology every Friday at 3 p.m. on The Voice of Stockton. And we're back. Everyone, welcome. This is Darius Oliver, Divine Numerologist, on live. We just changed our name. Now we are the voice of San Joaquin County. We're the voice of San Joaquin County, and we're representing everybody that's out here in Central Valley. So everyone that's out here in Central Valley, give yourselves a round of applause. For those of you, thanks for tuning in week after week. Everyone that tunes into the show from all around the world, wherever you guys are from, whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're experiencing in your life. I appreciate it very much. You guys, staying posted and staying with it. It's always awesome to support you and to receive the support. The feeling is phenomenal. Haley says hi. We got quite a few people that are tuning in. One of the things I'm going to talk about when we jump in is the number of the day. So the number of the day. What's the number of the day? Today is the 15th. Yesterday was the 14th. How was your Valentine's Day? It was 14, right? So we got that 5 energy from yesterday. So that is all about freedom. It's all about travel, movement, motion. So interesting that Valentine's Day is in the second month, which deals with cooperation and balance. Excuse me. The energy from the second month is relationships. It's all about cooperation. So this entire month is focused on that particular energy. And when we take the number today, which is the 15th, we have that 1 and 5 combination. It gives you the 6. Today, we have the 1, which is, of course, we know that it's confidence, creativity. For those of you guys who follow and who've been watching and tuning in for a while, you have probably heard so many times what the number 1 represents. Independence, doing things your own way in a unique, innovative style, a way that's unique to yourself. Then we have the number 5, which is wanting to travel, see new sights, new places, other realms. 5 is a great number for communication, for broadcasting. Then when we have 1 and 5, we get 6, which is the love, the harmony, the balance, vision, and acceptance. It is the nurturing that we experience. It's the feeling that it's the feeling you feel when there's a kitten or a dog, or you rub your nose on its little nose, when you're holding a baby and you're patting the baby's back, or when you're giving someone a hug, sharing that love vibration. 6 is ruled by Venus, which is really the earthly contentment, earthly values, material realm, things dealing with what we can see, feel, touch, smell, and experience with all 5 of our senses. Some would say 6 of our senses. And that is what the 6, that's a portion of what the 6 represents. It is actually a really good day for a follow-up to Valentine's Day, because we got that 5 in some people's lives. There was the 5 energy. 5 can bring about some uncertainty. So perhaps some people out there were feeling a little bit of uncertainty yesterday. Which is normal. Who's not feeling uncertainty nowadays? But especially yesterday, because there was a lot of focus on that yesterday. And then the energy itself, being the 14, is that of temperance. So temperance is the number all about. It's not about being located on extremes. It's about being centered and in the middle, being able to do all things in moderation. Christine Sumner, how you doing? That's my godmother. It's about being able to do things in moderation, take the middle path. That is the lesson in the 14. Then when we have 15, it's that it adds a little bit more, because it introduces the 6. It adds a little bit more of that nurturing energy. That uncertainty that came the day before is kind of softened a little bit, depending on what personal year you are in. what personal month or the personal day that you are in at the time. And there's ways to find that. And if you guys want to know what your personal day, month, or year is, you can always message me and we can set up some type of sit down together and talk about it. For those of you guys that are tuning in, welcome. And I want to tell you to drop your birthday in if you have any questions. We got some people. We have Yer Zhang. I believe I said that right. And she's born on February 16th, it looks like. So your birthday is tomorrow. So happy almost birthday, Yer. And since it's the 16th for you, the number 16, when we have those, we have, you know, I mentioned the number 1 being confidence, that creativity. The 6 is about the balance. When we have that, when we add those two numbers, the 1 and 6, we get 7. That is introspection and analysis. Introspection and analysis. Study, it's spirituality, it's science. And since you're born on the 16th, this carries a trait with it that when you are being presented with something, you must see evidence. You're the type of person that must see logical evidence in order to believe something. Or you may be more inclined towards skepticism related to it. And that skepticism, that evidence, the reason why it's needed is it's needed to substantiate any claims that a person makes, because your brain isn't able to accept something until it has something to stand on, to substantiate it. And once that is had, once someone presents evidence to you that substantiates any of the claims, you automatically, you say, hey, look, it makes sense. You have evidence. And then you start to use that information in a way that shapes other people's opinions. And you are pretty good at proving the point when it comes to showing, hey, look, this is why this is why that's not. And that 7 from the day makes you very curious as a person. Thanks Tammy. She gave me a compliment. I appreciate it. Just got a haircut today. Let's see. We got comments. Jamie Goodman said, I keep seeing 420 the past week. I can't say I could complain about that. That's not a bad number to see, depending on where part of the world you live in. So I'll just leave it at that. On that note, but 420 itself is, it's, the structure, stability process. We got that too, but we don't just take the 2 in this situation, because the way that you say the number also has an impact. This is one of the new insights, guys. So the way that you say a number has an impact on the vibration that it carries. So if you say 4 and then you say 20, then the 4 is going to highlight structure, and it's going to highlight the Emperor, because the Emperor is the 4th card in the tarot. If you say 20, then it's going to highlight, it's going to bring out the cooperation balance of the 2, but it's going to be expanded by that 0, because you're saying 20 as opposed to 420. 420 also shows the 20th card in the tarot, which is Judgment, also known as the Awakening. So, and I'm saying this to bring out this insight, that the way that we say the year influences how it will impact us. And not just how it will be impacting us, but how it impacts anyone who refers to it in that way. So for instance, this year's 2019. So 20 is Judgment card. 19 is the Sun card. Next year it'll be 2020. So that's Judgment, or Awakening. So that being said, for all of those of you out there who are following the news, which I'm not going to get too much into right now, this is the year of 2019, so we got awakening along with the sun, which is shining things to light, bringing a lot of things to light this year. If next year is 2020, which is awakening, think about what next year will hold. If all this stuff is being revealed now, just think about what 2020 is going to be about if it's a double awakening. Interesting. So we got some other people giving us some awesome comments. Sheila Oliver 215. That is my aunt in Oklahoma. Yes, Sheila Oliver. Yes. Okay, so that, just like we were talking about the energy of this particular day, for someone that's born on today, you're actually entering a personal year 2. You're entering a personal year 2. And this personal year 2 is going to be highlighting the themes related to relationships, cooperating with other people, being able to compromise and have patience in trying circumstances, because that patience that you have in those trying circumstances will help you have success in those situations. Jacinta Taylor, born on the 23rd of December, which is oddly enough a reversal of my birthday, because I am March 5th. Jacinta, this number 23 is 2 and 3 is 5. I'm born on the 5th. Then 12, 1 and 2 is 3. I'm born in the 3rd month. Cool. Nice. So 23rd of December. So this is highlighting that cooperative energy mixed with the expressive energy of the 3. The 3 is the number of entertainment. It's a number of entertaining others. So someone who's really good at communicating and helping people to feel comfortable, very friendly, very funny. Funny in their own way. 5 is a number that attracts a lot of friends. That's why you look at a phone, the number 5 is in the middle of all the numbers, because it's everyone's friend. Everybody, that's just the 5. It just does that. Wednesday is close to being in the middle of the week, and it resonates with the number 5. If 5 represents the middle. And then when we have 12, we're talking about, the number 3. That is highlighting, again, expression and sensitivity. And when we're taking a look at that, 3 also has to do with land. It has to do with your sense of courage. It has to do with the role that if you have siblings, then it indicates that they would be impacting your life. They would be impacting your life. Someone says, "No way, your birthday is March 5th." Then it says ... Let's see. Who said that? Okay. That's your cousin. Okay, cool. Nice. Yep. So there you go. Jamie Goodman was saying that her cousin is born on January 5th. And so, just speaking, as far as the connection that she has to this person that's born on the 5th and how it resonates. Let's see. Someone asked me, am I going to be at the holistic fair at Stockton Unity? That is up in the air at this current moment. There's some things that need to be communicated, and then we'll be able to follow up on that. When I do find that, I will be releasing that as an announcement as to whether I will or will not be attending that. I may have other arrangements on that depending on certain pending projects. Let's see. Jamie Goodman says that she sees 333 a lot. So as I'm saying that, you guys listening right now, probably your brains are probably going like, yep, I've been seeing it too. You guys watching it with your friends, talking about, girl, I've been seeing 333. I've been seeing 222 and all these different numbers. They all mean something. Of course they do. When you see these numbers, again, remember that it's letting you know that you have invisible backing. You have a team that is working with you, assisting you in your walk, in your journey in this time. And they are actually encouraging you in the moment of you seeing those numbers to invite their assistance in your behalf. So another person says 5 is in the middle. Yes, 5 is in the middle, and that their birthday is the 5th, and they're the middle child. 2 are older, and then 2 are younger. Another example right there. In this case, this particular individual, they are specifically born on the 5th, and they literally are in the middle. So it definitely relates to them strongly in that way. I'd be curious, Jamie, because if you're in the middle, I'd be very curious to see where the number 5 is appearing in your full chart to indicate that you would be born, because you have that connection with the 5, but it's really strongly emphasized right there. So there's some other 5s going on somewhere in your chart too. And then also some 3s somewhere, because you're the 3rd child of 5. 3 of 5. We got June 21st, 2 and 1. We got 2 and 1. That resonates with the card in the tarot called the World, which is like the completion of a long journey, kind of like the end of the Wizard of Oz. And when Dorothy gets to the end of the story and she discovers, oh wow, I went through all this stuff, this story, and now I realized that I have the power in my own shoes. And so she clicks her heels and she gets her wish that she wanted. And for those of you who never seen the Wizard of Oz, check it out and you'll see what her wish was at the end. And for those of you who have seen it, don't tell the ones that haven't. And Star Wars, the end of Star Wars, the World card is like when Luke, for those of you who've seen Star Wars, makes it to the end, defeats the Empire, and then what happens after he does that. Didn't mean to spoil it for those of you who didn't know that Luke Skywalker helped to. I don't know what rock they're sleeping under. But
we're like how.
But I'll say it again. If you haven't seen it, then don't let anyone tell you how it ends, because it's really good. Let's see. So I got a new book. It's really awesome. It's really good, and it's very positive as far as spiritual mindset, spiritual prosperity. It's a book by a gentleman known as Eric Butterworth. It's called Spiritual Economics. It's right here. This is what it looks like. Highly recommend this book because it will elevate your thinking to another level when it comes to how we feel about money, our mindset and attracting it and making ourselves available to receive it, to be able to receive money, and abundance, and the proper place that money should actually have in our head, like the way that is the proper way to actually view it, which is probably a lot different than what most of you are expecting from a spiritual type book like this. I personally got it from Unity of Stockton, located on March Lane. That's where I got my copy. You can get it there too, or you can order it online. Really good book. Eric Butterworth. He also has a few lectures on YouTube, some YouTube videos. You can also listen to this book on YouTube. Just type in spiritual economics and they should have an audio, or at least like some type of a study where you can hear and get the mindset contained in the book. And it's just really good. As far as it's one of the concepts is being very careful about who we allow in our area, who's allowed around you, because we're constantly eating. We're constantly consuming and nourishing our body. We're not just eating through our mouth, but we're eating through what we see. We're eating through what we feel with our hands. We're eating through what we hear. We're eating through what we smell. Any sensory receptor, anything that we can detect things around us, is a form of consumption, a form of eating. And making sure that our environment is feeding us the right nutrients is very important when it comes to prosperity. What are the people around you talking like? Are they saying things that cause your vibration to rise, or are they saying things that cause your vibration to lower? How can you tell the difference? What's the difference between feeling our vibration rise and feeling it lower? It also calls into place some mindfulness techniques. Mindfulness, becoming fully present in your body, thinking about, how am I breathing? What am I currently thinking right now? What am I currently feeling right now? What's, being an observer of the thoughts. He speaks about the reactive mind, reactive thought versus creative thought. Most of us don't think creative thoughts. A lot of us don't think creative thoughts. We are reactive thinkers, meaning that we generate thoughts based on what we're already experiencing in our environment around us. There's a book called Think and Grow Rich. And again, this is a book that has some similar ideas. In fact, almost identical ideas to this here, which is produced by a very influential person in the Unity. But Napoleon Hill wrote in that particular book that when it comes to the thoughts that we're thinking and what we're allowing ourselves to consume with our mind, with our ears, plays a big part in what we experience inside, using our reactive mind versus the creative. And here's what he said. One of the most challenging things in the world is the art of thinking. And it's so interesting that he calls it an art. Whenever someone calls something an art, they're making a distinction, because they're distinguishing it as being an art form as opposed to just something technical. That's, art is technique plus practice. When you practice a technique consistently over time, you develop a style, a unique style. Technical comes from the word technique, right? So you practice different techniques. You develop different techniques to create the art form. So different people have different ways of thinking, different connectors in the brain. So the greatest labor of man, one of the greatest labors of man, is to think.
but not just thinking, it's about accurate thought. And in the book Think and Grow Rich, it talks about accurate thought and how to distinguish that from inaccurate thought, like those scary things that the mind thinks, the illusions of, oh, what if this and what if that, and such like that. Those types of thoughts. And whenever we're talking about things related to the mind, we're in the realm of the number 2. And we're in the realm of the number 7. When we're talking about the unconscious mind, we're talking about 2. Because 2 is ruled by the moon. The moon rules the illusions and the shadows. It rules that which is hidden. It rules that which shows one side, but has another side to be discovered. It won't volunteer to you the secrets of that side, but it won't necessarily resist if you go and look and explore for yourself. That's the unconscious mind. And it works behind the scenes, giving us the results that we experience. This is 2. It works very passively, just like the element of water. Water is not it's not aggressive by its own nature. Water, just like the number 2, is affected and influenced by its environment. The wind. If the wind blows really hard on the water reacts. The water is highly susceptible to the movements of whatever is around it. If the earth quakes under the ocean on the seafloor, it's going to affect the water on the top. So a lot of times when we're feeling ungrounded, if we're as above, so below, the earth, which is element 4, number 4, and the water, which is number 2, when we take a look at this, when that earth quakes, it affects the surface of the water. It can create all kinds of different things. But it's the water reacting to its environment. So that's how our subconscious mind is. That's how our emotions are. The emotions are connected to what's going on behind in the brain, our programming. And that's where these books like Spiritual Economics goes into. It's talking about reprogramming that subconscious mind in such a way that you're giving new commands and ways of thinking, ways of believing and viewing that which you experience. Then when you look at the wind, what's wind? How does wind affect water? Well, it forces it to move. Wind is like communication. Wind is words. Wind is pictured by the sword in the tarot. So the way that our words affect our subconscious mind is very powerful. The words of others, the suggestions of other people around us. If someone says, I think you can do it, or I think you can do it, it's going to impact the subconscious mind whether we know it or not. We don't even have to say it verbally. Just our thought can influence the performance of another person around us. Especially if we hold that person, doing well in our mind. If we hold a picture of a person doing well, that will increase the likelihood of them succeeding in that. And for those of you, Jamie says, ruled by the wind. Well, guess what? Using the wind, what happens? The wind blows on the water, it moves the water. Well, the words of others move our emotions, and the words of others move and affect our subconscious, but they're not the only ones that have words. We have words with our own mouth, and we have the ability to reprogram our brain by the use of affirmations. And that's what these books talk about, is positive affirmations. But it takes it a step beyond. your typical type of affirmation that you would normally hear about. Yes, it highlights the necessity to repeat it over and over. And this is because when we're using our words to communicate to the subconscious mind, it really takes repetition to do it, especially for deprogramming 20, 30, 40 plus years of conditioning and ways of thinking and believing to create some change in the way that we automatically behave. Now, there's another book I mentioned on the show, and this is a new insight as well that I'm going to share. I had the book Open Your Mind to Open Your Mind to Prosperity, and one of the things that's revealed in there is some people will specifically repeat something 15 times, or they'll sit there repeating something 15 minutes. But I noticed that they used the number 15. And then I would notice also in the past, a lot of people use the number 15 for, set something for 15 minutes. 15 minutes is like a go-to number for certain things. So I was like, okay, never really looked at it, but why 15? I mean, because I've just always done things by 15, but why? So then I looked into Shiro's Book of Numbers because of a statement that was made in Dynamic Laws of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. And she said that the ancients would utter something in 15 times. They would do something 15 times. They would, if they were trying to break a bad situation apart, they would repeat an affirmation or a command. They would use something called the law of command to break up a stressful situation. And they would repeat it 15 times because they understood that the number 15 had occult or special significance. And hey, look, what's today? Today's the 15th, right? So I looked into it. I looked into that and I thought, oh, you know what? That's interesting. Shiro's Book of Number actually spoke about that too. And in there, it actually comments on that. Let me see if I have it. Yes, I do. Number 15 is a very potent, strong number for people to use, especially those who are resonating with the number 6. And for 15, it says this. This is a number, and this is in Shiro's Book of Numbers right here. This is like a really awesome book. This one, when I started studying this, I actually discovered this kind of by accident in a way, but not really. I was back in Boston and I saw this and I read it online for the first time back when it was free online. And it took me to a whole nother level of numerology, introduced me to some different and new concepts. But for the 15, it says, this is a number of occult significance, of magic and mystery. But as a rule, it represents different sides of occultism. Its meaning being that the persons represented by it will use every art of magic they can to carry out their purposes. If associated with a good or fortunate single number, it can be very lucky and powerful. But if associated with one of the peculiar numbers, will be using, it says that the person that it represents will resort to different types of measures of some kind, depending on what number it is that they are associated with. It says it is peculiarly associated with good talkers, often with eloquence, gifts of music and art, and a dramatic personality, combined with a certain voluptuous temperament and strong personal magnetism. For obtaining money, gifts, and favors from others, it is a fortunate number. So that's some of the energy of the number 15. So when they said that in Catherine Ponder's book about opening the mind to prosperity, whenever someone is working on getting rid of lack consciousness and getting rid of debt, using affirmation in sets of 15. It's a really interesting experiment. I recommend that you guys try it and, share with me what you experience. It's definitely worth it. There's nothing really to lose other than some problems. And who wouldn't mind losing some of those, solving some of those and making things better in your lives? That is some of the characteristics of that 15 energy. Let's see. We got some other comments. Someone asked, Tammy Lee asked, what is 17? 17, the 17th card in the tarot, if you want to know that, is known as the star. So 17 is the star, and it is pictured by a woman that is pouring some bowls of water. I'm looking for the card right now so that I can show you guys all on the camera so you can see what it looks like. And it actually, as far as astrology, the astrological correspondence that it has is with the sign of Aquarius, which is the water bearer. Here it is. This is what the card looks like. This is the star. And the meaning of it, I'll show on the other cameras. The meaning is hope, faith of something that is afar off or seems afar off. It is ruled by the planet Saturn, which at times has, may have brought about delays in your lives if you're influenced by the 17. And promises success after a journey. This star is also alluding to the star that led the Magi in the wilderness when they were going to look for Jesus. Some have made reference to this being related to the North Star in the Bible book in the first 4 Gospels of the Bible. And then when you look at the woman, she's a water bearer. You've probably seen that statue where the woman is holding the water and pouring it down. That is what a water bearer does. They bear water in jugs and containers. And this is what Aquarius is. The energy of it, yes, it is a very hopeful energy, that of hope for a future promise and hope for future success and optimism. And the person that it represents is someone that is trying to accomplish something. But the number 17 in and of itself, aside from the tarot card, it is the leadership and the tenacity of the number 1 mixed with the mind and mental power, the clarifying focus of the 7. 1 and 7 added together gives us the 8, which is abundance and power. Abundance and power, connection and disconnection. Look at the 1. The 1 is instinct. The 7 is intuition. So it's where our instinct meets our intuition. They're closely, very, very, very closely related. Instinct and intuition. They both start with I as well. And that connection right there, 1 would be logic. 7 would be another form of logic. 8 is that in full expression. 17 is considered the most positive vibration of the number 8. The most positive of the vibrations that add up to 8. So that's, compared to 26, compared to 35, and whatnot because of the planets that rule the number 17. The sun, the planet, or excuse me, the mathematical point known as K2, and then also Saturn, which is the 8. And then we have, let's see, tomorrow's the 16th. So, oh, and congratulations. Someone said that their wedding anniversary was on the 21st of August. That's a good question. What about that? That's a great question. We're actually about to cut it off at this moment in a few minutes. But before I do, it's, you're talking about the 21, that's that completion. The August, that's strength. And then 2010, the 10 is the wheel of fortune. Expecting unexpected. And turn of events. A year highly influenced by fate. Boom. Let's see. So tomorrow's the 16th. For those of you whose birthday is on the 16th, happy birthday. And for those of you whose birthday is today, happy birthday as well. And I hope that your Valentine's Day was pretty awesome also. And that you spent some really good time with your loved ones and those that you wanted to share that special time with yesterday. Definitely wish you all well. And if you guys have any questions, you can reach me at 209-898-4103, or you can message me on Facebook. I also have an Instagram that is Divine Numerology 1515. Divine Numerology 1515. You can reach me there and you can ask questions. I have, for those of you asking about angel numbers, I have my own set of angel number experiences that I post on there. I take pictures of my speedometers. I take pictures of license plates, and the time, not just the time, but when I walk somewhere and I just see it. Now, you guys say, oh, hey, what is 333 and 444? You guys say you see this, and that's great, and I'm pretty sure, and I know that you guys see it. When you see it on this Instagram, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And you're probably going to be like, yep, same thing happened to me. Same thing happened. Yep, you're going to be able to relate if you guys have been seeing it. It's just going to show you that it is something that is highly prevalent now, and it is alerting you to your path and destiny. That is today's show. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. We are about to close up, and I hope that you all have an awesome weekend and an awesome week. This is Darius Oliver, Divine Numerologist, and peace.